They're always burning. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Reality Check. This is Reality Check, the remix, because this is the second time that we've had today's guest on. And as you guys see, I am again in a hotel room. I am coming to you from Orlando, Florida. I am here. Hey, Tamasha. Hey, Janika. Hey, Dee. Hey, Felicia. Hey, El Rami, Dre Monster. Thank you guys for being here. Ready for the conversation. I am here in Orlando. I am enjoying and celebrating my my birthday and anniversary with my honey bunny. But I had to get on here with you guys so we could talk about what is going on after Friday's episode. Many of you watched Mo and I's recount of the reunion, of the finale. And you know my thoughts the entire season. I've been really clear about the fact that the only couple I actually believed this entire season was Phil and Aries. And ironically, they were the only couple that did not make it moving forward. So we're getting ready to have a conversation with Phil to get his perspective. I know there was a lot that he could not say when we had him on the first time because we had to go through the reunion. So we're having him back tonight so we can, so he can talk, give us the unedited version. He did a great job of staying very, playing according to code because the show had already taped when we had him on the first time, but he did a great job of keeping everything a secret. But now we got him back and he is able to actually be 100% honest with us. There's a lot to clear up. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring Phil on. Hey, Phil.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
You doing great?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. Well, I love it. First of all, thank you so much for coming back and agreeing to come back. Mm-hmm. And I know we talked to you before and you could not really go into detail because there was so much that we hadn't seen. So right. I was like, we have to have you come back. And so I'm glad to have you come back so you can speak without the edited, without the edits about everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That is wild.
yeah, it was. But the funny thing, I want to start your conversation with this because, I was honest with you and I have been with the entire, with the subscribers here. You and Aries were the only connection that we really saw, that we actually got a chance to witness. Right. And so it was ironic to see that be the one connection that did not make it, to the end. But it's also life. But I love the fact when I was looking, everybody was, paying attention to what was going on online after the finale. You posted a actual footage of you taking yourself out to eat after Aries' decision. And I just want to play that so the people that did not see it on Phil's Instagram get a chance to see it here. Here's live actual footage that was captured of Phil after the decision.
Or would it be too much for you to see? Just come in love with me.
Oh,
hilarious!
Yeah, man.
So give us the mood, Phil. What was the mood that made you post that? Because I know people were looking at your page trying to figure out what were you going to say if you were going to, defend yourself, if you were going to trash Aries? People want us to know what you were going to say.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, ain't no way trashing Aries is even a part of the whole, ideal of speaking up for myself or giving my perspective or what have you. Because again, I'd be damned if I sit there and try to trash a woman that I pursued, because
Nice.
then that should be, and let's go for any guy or girl. There should be a reflection. Who you pursue should be, especially intentionally, should be a
Right.
reflection on what you desire, who you are, things of that nature. So none of that is an option.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is a week and a half. I would say about a week and a half is stuck in my head leading up to that moment is where I start seeing like the train falling off the tracks
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that it's starting to look a little bleak in terms of like communication is dropping off. I'm not
Okay.
really understanding where her mindset is at. And I'm in a sense feeling like I'm in the dark, but I'm also not really worried so much about it because I'm like, well, I do know certain anniversaries of her father's passing, birthdays between him and her. There's all going on in that time frame. So I'm like, let me give her space
Mm-hmm.
to, to grieve. At the end of the day, those first anniversaries losing, a father and the way that their relationship was so dope. I know that it's going to take, a little bit of space, a little bit of time. And I just allowed that to be what it was, not really understanding in the background she's over analyzing our connection
Okay.
at the same time. But I knew for me, I just didn't feel like we were as close. And I'll say probably smack after the what did we have, that the retreat. It was like right after that is when I started noticing the communication side of it, just widen,
Mm-hmm.
which can happen. But again, I know there are other things in the background. But in the midst of that time frame, her birthday had passed, so I made sure she was celebrated that way. Whether I don't, and I'm bad. I'm gonna tell you to be honest with you. I ain't watched probably like the last like 6 episodes. I'm not good at this.
Okay. Okay. Fair.
But what I don't know if they caught it where at the retreat I brought cupcakes in from like a gourmet cupcake place. Okay, so I brought in cupcakes so we could all celebrate, sing happy birthday and all that. Brought enough, a few dozen in. Brought some for dietary reasons. For Jessica has specific dietary reasons, so brought some special for her.
Mm-hmm.
Brought her favorite ones just to make it a moment. Let's celebrate you regardless, because that's
Yeah.
me, and I do that with my loved ones. Hell, I do that with my friends' kids if
Yeah.
I can think about it. But bought her some gifts off camera and all that, and then I still just wanted to celebrate her.
Yeah.
Time go by, and again, communication is dropping off. It's not totally cold, but it's dropping off. But
Do
then
you think that? Let me ask you this, Phil. What do you think her response was? Because I will say, as a viewer, I would have loved to have seen that. I think the viewers. I have no idea. I'm not a producer. Well, I am a producer.
right,
I'm not producing on this show.
right.
I have no idea why they wouldn't show that because I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
definitely like showed even more of the real genuine connection that we didn't see a lot of.
Yeah. Well, I'll
You
give you another one. There was a date at her home.
know.
She had a chef come in. It was a black woman who's a chef. Came in and we cooked some salmon with some veggies, some asparagus, it was like a not rice. It's man, I can't think of it's a particular type of pasta, but it's like rice. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, we made that together. I served her plate. She brought some of my favorite style of craft beers. We was tasting them together. It was a moment.
Yeah.
Like when them, and this was before the retreat, I want to say, but it was just the point. They didn't show that. And I'm like, why did they show that? And her and I both were perplexed.
Was it
Because
quinoa? Was
it's not a grain. No, it's not a
Okay.
grain.
Okay.
It's made, it looks like rice, but it's a pasta.
Okay.
But the name is escaping me because I obviously don't eat it that much. But the point of the matter is, it was just that space of sharing the kitchen,
Yeah.
having conversation, flirting,
Mm.
we shared a couple pecks of a kiss, and like the whole thing was just mad dope. I brought her like a wine from Charles Woodson Winery when I stepped up. Everything was the same flow that we was on. and it was all beautiful, all good. And then, like I said, no, the connection was real. I
Yeah.
was never say it wasn't real. I
Yeah.
just think over time, she began to maybe tap more into things that are most attractive out of a man from maybe career standpoint. Maybe some of it is from a earning standpoint, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't deliver that for her, and I think that's where it all dropped off, which is fair. It's people have their preferences, but at the same token, I think that's where those are just two facets of her on the analytical side that I could think of. She will be able to speak for herself on other things, but I think those definitely maybe have that were played up, I would say,
Yeah.
from the stability narrative being one, which was way overblown, but
Yeah.
also just maybe where she is in her career. Maybe she wants somebody that's more established in what they're doing, things of that nature. But yeah, I could say those couple of things kind of hit off the top of my head. But I at least want to make sure I highlighted that date that they didn't show, because I think I personally feel like it'll show more of the essence of our connection
Yeah.
without the questioning. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
want to just say to your point, what you just mentioned, I don't know, we haven't had a chance to talk to Aries yet. You're the first person that we're talking to after the finale.
Okay.
I don't think that I do think there are some women that value them, finances in that way over everything else. But I think at the end of the day, when you're truly ready to love and you're looking for a connection, that money is something that can come and go. But
Again,
character is not, you know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that I see, because you said, well, maybe women find that more attractive. And I think that definitely depends on the woman, because I think there are a lot of women that, definitely what you have done to me, the way you even spoke about her after she's told you that she didn't want to move forward, the way you continue to speak about her now, and the way you handle the situation speaks to your character. And so that's why I said, I appreciate that, because we've seen a lot of different things when it comes to how men treat women when they feel rejected. And sometimes it doesn't feel good for a person to not want to move forward when you do. So for you to handle yourself and still speak about her this way, that speaks to character. And that's something that doesn't come and go, as opposed
I
to.
agree.
So
Yeah.
I just want to say that. Let me ask you this, because I just want to be honest and just get to it. I feel like when I watched, and this was not just with you, this was with several of the guys, but watching the conversation with her family and you, and even her friends earlier and you, do you feel like production made the?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
I don't even know what you're about to say, but
Well,
whatever you.
I feel like production made that the focus, to where it looked like the family was almost, kind of like poking you and trying to get you to, trying to prove that you weren't good enough or prove that you weren't the right fit for her. Did you feel that they were kind of coming down on you or being skeptical of you when you guys were there, or is that the way it was edited?
Both.
Okay.
It's both. You can't. These people don't have a script. We don't have no script.
Right.
The most we may turn to is a flash of a cell phone screen when someone says either, "Hey, we got 5 minutes," or ask about this. There may be moments of that, but we don't have a script. We don't have nothing we need to read before we show up. For me personally, all I know is, what do I feel in the moment?
Right.
And let's say with the friends date piece, I think that was pretty evenly down the line. Like, friends want to see the best for their friend. Like, I ain't feel no way off of that.
Okay.
Could you have answered questions maybe a little bit more better and concise? Sure, no problem. But the editing piece from the friend date was the aspect when I mentioned having a cleaning company. I had a cleaning franchise 10 years ago was the last time I cleaned an office, because the franchise was more or less, for lack of better terms, they were dirty, and there was a class action suit against them in the whole nine. Gotcha. But I ain't done that since 2013. But they edited that to make it sound like I just hopped from that.
Yeah.
So, which was wrong. With the friends, and it's really her friend and her mom. But with the mother and sister thing, it's not her sister. But with that part of it, that was different because again, they can edit a piece of it to the point of, oh, he spoke about comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did because I'm in a more healing state, and that was something I had done 14 years ago. I've
Okay.
worked with comedians that mainly in the Detroit area, a little bit in Chicago, in my late 20s, and the economy was trash. I'm like, man, let me focus on this. Let me just focus on my career because maybe I'm not feeling passionate about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I had started dating at that time who ended up being my soon to be wife around that time frame of life, and I wanted to be stable, so I focused on bringing home a check.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
and I'm gonna be honest with you, I prevailed. So when it came down to me and that
Okay.
woman going off into our thing, we got married, paid for our wedding ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Not a whole lot of help, parents and all that kind of stuff. We did our thing that way and moved from, Atlanta to Dallas, blah, blah, blah. But the point of the matter is that was a passion in me that started getting resurrected through, whether it be seeing, the Tommy effect of it, Red being a comedian, hearing about that, cracking jokes with Chris and cracking jokes with Quentin and Maurier and the camaraderie of the fellas and all that. And then it was like, man, I'm in a much more healed place if I'm dipping back to stuff that I thought I buried.
Mm-hmm.
I broke out my old joke book that I used to write straight up.
Oh, okay.
Started writing again in the process.
Okay.
Um, Going through now new life situations. I got ready to love material that should come about. And I got to hit some open mic nights. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not leaving my job though.
Yeah.
The jokes I could tell at night, I can't tell them at 3 p.m. You
No,
know what
that's
I'm
a
saying?
good point. That's a good point. And I think that just comes from conversation. But let me also say this, and I want you to tell me what you think about this idea.
Mhm.
I have, conversations. You guys know Scorpio Mo, shouts out to him. He's in the chat. He's my co-host for the recap. And I was blessed to have a lot of amazing male friends in my life. And
Mhm.
we've had these conversations that, a lot of times men feel like they have to give up their dreams or give up what they want to pursue really to be able to have that steady check and to provide. I know a lot of men do that, right?
Mhm.
Because as a woman, especially if you're looking at a man wanting to marry you or wanting to be in a long-term relationship and have children, women do want stability across the board. So I think, Marriott says this, are men not allowed passions or hobbies or even just the pursuit of what's important to them? Do you feel like, because you just mentioned early on, got me, knew we were getting married, so you had to go after the stability and the check. Do you think that if you didn't get married, maybe at that, younger age, and you really had taken time to figure out what you wanted to do you think that overall you could have been happy? Or do you think men sacrifice their happiness for a woman's security?
Yeah, we do. Um, it can happen a lot. But then on the flip side, there are some women who understand that to the effect of, and I can think of it twofold. Like he ain't about to blame this on me later on in life, so let me motivate him today.
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah.
understand the fact of a person with some passion and purpose and some talents and some creativity. Like, nah, push them in that direction. Yeah, bills got to get paid, and maybe they could do some things to, as Aries' friend said, is it lucrative? And
Mhm.
not maybe not right at the beginning, but
Yeah.
why is that a thing? But sometimes you can nudge a person to still move towards what it is they really, really enjoy and allow God to take care of the rest of the plan
Mhm.
because that's another aspect of it. Just move in a direction.
Yeah.
You take one step, God to take two, three, four, five
Yeah.
in your favor down the line. So I think if I would have, and I reflect on this at times, and not to blame it on my ex-wife per se, but if I would have stuck more to some particular principles in that phase of life,
Mhm.
I do believe that I would have had a different outcome, maybe
Yeah.
romantically.
Yeah.
But I think that comes with maybe looking at somebody in your family and asking them if they came across them pitfall, man or a woman,
Mhm.
finding some guidance in them type of departments before you make brash decisions. Because I think that's just ask your peers, maybe seek after some guidance in that regard before you make a decision to step away from it fully, because it could have just been a season that I stepped
Yeah.
away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's
And
true. I agree.
yeah,
I
but
agree.
not like a whole. It shouldn't have been as loud as it did. I mean, I had performed at a couple of open mics at Jokes and Notes in Chicago. I had a one night I went to visit in New York at the Improv. I had a standing ovation with no written material.
Oh,
So
wow.
I have it in me,
Right.
but I do also come from a blue collar background, being from Detroit, and working is in my blood. I've been
Mhm.
working since I was a kid,
Yeah.
so it's in my blood to work. What I don't necessarily recall growing up is watching somebody walk into their passion and talents and
Yeah.
not wavering. Maybe you take a dip, you just get some steady work, blah blah blah, but you keep moving it forward. I'm
Yeah.
not used to seeing that, so
Yeah.
I have to be that example for my son now,
Yeah.
even if it means I'm doing it at 42. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's the difference for me living in Atlanta. I grew up in Tulsa,
Mm,
Oklahoma, so
okay.
entrepreneurship was not a thing. It was like go to college and get a job. But
Mm-hmm.
when I moved to Atlanta, I was able to see, because my goal was always just to be, have a VP or executive director position in a marketing
Mm-hmm.
firm. But when I moved to Atlanta, I saw so many people that looked like me owning their own businesses. And I just, it just inspired me to realize something I had never even realized. Like I never grew up wanting to be an entrepreneur. But I think that, you know what, where's the juice? It may be a footy sock in the back. You guys, I am on vacation with my husband. We are celebrating our anniversary and our birthday.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Thank you.
Yeah,
Our birthdays, my birthday is October 3rd. His birthday is October 5th, and our wedding anniversary is October 4th. So we had a trip
I
to
love it.
celebrate here in Orlando at Disney World. And so we are celebrating.
I
Um,
love it.
but yeah, that probably is a footy sock in the background. Yeah, it
Man,
is.
hey, it's some crazy nights in Orlando. Y'all lucky that's the only thing in the
I
background.
know, right?
Probably
Y'all know as soon as I get off of here, it is on. But no,
all
seriously.
like popcorn.
But my point is, I think that when people don't go after what makes them happy,
Mhm.
they don't live life in the fullest. And I
I
don't think
agree.
it's ever too late to do that, right? And I'm thankful that I did move to Atlanta because it changed my perspective. And I made more money working for myself than I had ever. It almost scared me for a
You
long
can do that
time.
in Atlanta. Atlanta like that.
You can't, but now I think it's even different every place because I see so many other people in DC and Chicago, even in Texas, are
Hmm.
doing things because there's so much the stigma has been lifted, and we realize as a community we have to empower ourselves. So I don't want to get preachy on that, but I believe in people living life to their fullest, whether
Right.
you're a man or a woman. And we know that in the old days, men had no choice, right? They had to and I'm not saying men shouldn't provide.
Oh yeah, for
What I'm
sure.
saying is
Yeah.
that as a wife and as a woman that is proud to be beside a man, you want him to be happy. You want him to be fulfilled. You want him to be able to explore and achieve his own personal goals as well as the ones you guys have together. So
Hmm.
that's my
Well, I'm gonna tell you two things which you bring about. I forgot you were in Atlanta. So a good friend of mine, Maurice Sims, who does the Atlanta House of Comedy down there. So
Mhm.
when I moved there from Chicago, I was helping him promote comedy. I was his other like street team guy because I
Okay.
just wanted to be connected to
Yeah.
the art of it.
Yeah.
And so I still stayed in tune with it, and I tried to set up my own like comedy nights down here in Texas when I moved here, but Texas wasn't like booming. I mean, Dallas wasn't
Yeah.
booming quite yet, like
Yeah.
2012. But then over time, I just again got married. Like, man, look, I mean, let me just keep aiming up these, you know what I'm saying, checks and keep the household situated that way. But still, just my passion just stayed buried more and more and more. But again, I again to any person, hold yourself accountable in that regard so
Hmm.
that it's just not and it'll never go. The fire may dim, but it'll never go out when it's something
Right.
you really, really love. And
Absolutely.
then the other piece, back to the my brainstorming as of the last week and a half and looking at how my how my livelihood has been put in scrutiny for the
Hmm.
most part is, dang, from a part-time job standpoint, it's like 8 comedy clubs in Dallas.
Yeah.
I clean up within 50-minute radius. Just, you know, truth be told, all due respect to my man Red, I can follow in Red footsteps and do some MCing and some hosting and things like that and take a page from his book.
Yeah.
I can still do my thing and get that passion out, go to work every day, coach my son in sports, see after my mom, and still be that guy. And I have a high aptitude for what I do for a living. So
Right.
I always have to tap into that. I'm a nerd in a lot of ways. So I need to get them passions out. And I also know that I have a brain that the gears keep turning. So I got to feed that too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Here, Mogedet says, let Aries have her standards. They just weren't compatible. And now he can find someone who appreciates him. I think that's true. I think we all have a path. We all have a journey. And the mature thing says, you know what? She's an amazing woman. He's an amazing man. They just might not have been amazing together. And I think that's what you have given everyone an opportunity to really embrace, that there's nothing wrong with either of you, and the fact that you've done it with so much grace. I appreciate. Now, I do want to clear up, because there was, when your friends came on, Herbert and Red, they both had to stop their interview to let us know that you do have money. Herbert was like, he had to stop the whole interview just to make sure that people knew that you were not out here struggling. And a lot of women have been saying, you know, well, and I will admit, as a woman, we do look at time. Women look at time probably a lot more than men. So the idea of the last 3 or 4 years came up, like, what has he been doing? So I just want to give you an opportunity to clear that up, because your boys had your back and they were like, there's nothing wrong. He's not struggling. He ain't, he ain't out here asking for money.
I mean, they could have pitched in on the moving expenses when I was moving the last time I hollered at you. If they really was concerned about it, brother, you could have dropped something.
Just to talk in their interview, they did not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the critics, not the fellas. The fellas, they look out for me. They bought me a couple drinks when we out. So the way that broke down, as I've explained this in real time in numerous occasions, but. So my life, when I say I had a transition in life, it was over 4 years ago, like 4.5 years ago, where the previous industry I worked in, because I actually worked with Marie, we were both independent claims adjusters, which is kind of like somewhat of the entrepreneurial side of being a claims adjuster. You're a contractor.
Right.
So you got to make sure you got a clean record. You got great efficiency when closing claims. You're working these hurricane claims. I think he and I were working Hurricane Irma or something like that. But about a year or so after that, I had and then we talking like 2017, 18. So by the latter part of 2018, fourth quarter, I got laid off, and it was like a 4.5 month layoff. Now I'm gonna give you a conversation twofold, because I was also criticized, talked down to about from a spirituality standpoint.
Yeah. We're gonna get to that too. What is going on with you in the church?
So in that time frame, because my primary spiritual basis taps into a lot of meditation and prayer, and that's what was missing during that dark season of just can't find work. I think I counted up to 120 applications I filled out, and during that time frame, I had my unemployment coming in. I was door dashing. I was Uber eating. I was what's the another one called roadie, dropping people luggage off that they leave at the airport. I did it all to add on to what I was getting, because I still got my mouth to feed,
and your son,
a baby, he 2, and I was making sure I hustled how I could. And once I sat down, meditated, prayed, and I was thankful for everything from the paint on the wall to running water to the carpet on the floor. And then that's when I got into a receiving mode, to now the blessings that I've been pushing for now came to me.
Okay.
And then from that part, it was interviews. I had to turn down interviews once I finally just succumbed to what God had for me. From I wanted you to go through that so you could see what I could do for you. You could fill out the application, but I had to set it up from there. So once you're done with that, give it to me and I'll take care of it. But that came from that prayer and that meditation. Yeah, maybe it ain't to Jesus. Sorry, But
I want to ask you because talk though, you did mention that you were at a church. You went to church initially with Aries. You guys were at the same church, just married to different people. So I'm just asking because I've talked to so many people about disenchantment with the church, right? And they realized that, at some point in time, they decided this wasn't for them for whatever reason. So I wanted to ask you, did something happen? Because for you to be as involved in the church as you were, going to a marriage group and things like that, what changed your outlook on the way your relationship with religion and spirituality?
One thing that stands out off the bat in the front of my mind is people's closed-mindedness. People's just in the church, in quotations, people's closed-mindedness, gossiping, and quick to run somebody's name through the mud in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I also began to get into a higher sense of consciousness through specific books, the Browder Files, just going back to old sermons from Reverend Ike. I don't know if you remember Reverend Ike. He used to have like the almost like a pompadour hairdo with the flashy suits back in like the 70s. But it's a consciousness about your spirituality and a God from within.
Okay.
And you can have that through different religions, but know that you also too are a reflection of God. And if you have I've always put it like this: if you got your mental faculties in place, physically you're good. The rest of that you can now lean on the energy of God every day, and that's all you need. You can allow that to order your steps from being kind to people to not popping off on people on the internet just because they want to drag your name through the mud. Because here's the thing: if I know, and this again, we're speaking in the context of coming off this show and this and that. If I know there are people trying to pull me down where they are, they got to already be down there.
Yeah, that's facts.
I ain't got to go.
That's facts.
I can defend myself. I can speak truth to what's going on, but I ain't got to go play in the mud with you.
That's facts.
So a lot of my spiritual consciousness and all of that just keeps me moving forward in that way. But yeah, I was heavily involved with a church back in Detroit, Triumph Church, amazing Pastor Killock. I will visit the church now. It's not about that. It's really just about from an institutional standpoint. And so I see one of the comments says the institution of the church that drive people away, not God. And I firmly believe that too. Yeah. But also I'm not going to take that away from the next man or woman because that might be their refuge.
Right.
But don't take it away from me either.
Right. That's fair.
And even in the editing sense of things, I said that if I subscribed to a religion, it would be Buddhism. I did not say I was a Buddhist.
Right. So what is that? But I did wonder about that because then I was just like, what is that? So what is it about Buddhism that you would be the closest thing to align with where you're at?
Go look at Tina Turner. All that turmoil, all that chaos around her. And I learned how to be centered within me. All of this, you ain't stable and you jobless, and that speaks to a man's character.
Yeah.
That is you're trying to snatch a hole through a man's ego that has pride in what he does. As a father, as an educated Black man, I have a degree in what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this because I turned a light switch on and was like, I want to be in supply chain management again. No, I made the dean's list. I took them engineering classes, passed them business classes.
What's your degree in?
Supply chain management from Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yep. Yes, it is in Kalamazoo, Michigan. But I think I'm the first graduate in my family.
Okay, congratulations.
On all sides. So thank you for that. But it's, that's past tense. But the point of the matter is there's a legacy behind what I got myself into and was able to revisit all the internships, I don't have no crappy background for people to just be bashing it just because they heard somebody say, "Are you stable?" 50,000 times,
right?
Or if somebody's mom say, "Well," or sister say, or friends say, "Are these jokes lucrative?" So now I got to be dumbed down to where your check at.
Yeah,
and I have one. But
Yeah.
did anybody not read the caption under my face during this whole show?
Well, people like, I think if people like drama, right? And editing also,
Right,
those little sound bites
right,
are what
right.
carry the show.
Correct.
So I get why, but I think, it's important. I just want to ask you, because you did mention something. And I think that's what happens a lot of times. I'm not going to mention some of your other castmates. There were a couple that responded very differently when women um, were not interested or did not agree with them. Just very different responses. What is it? Is it this practice that has enabled you to be as gracious as you've been towards even the people on your page? Because I watched some of the way you commented back to people on your page, saying things and challenging you, and you don't give them back the negative energy. You don't come down there. So what is it that keeps you from being in your feelings and from your ego getting attacked, and feeling emotionally wounded to where you're able to respond, that way?
You got to watch your energy, because I have to transfer that out to kids that I coach after the fact. I have to, my son and his soccer team, I just finished coaching them before I got here. So they got to see that energy. They got to be aware of my mannerisms,
Yeah.
my voice inflections. All of that can be ruined if I dumb myself down
Yes.
to whatever level people want to bring me down to based on, questioning how I make a living or if I do at all. In some cases, I've been a jobless, lazy bum who go play video games on her couch if she let me. But when it's all said and done, it's still just about being centered and still confidence. And it's a lot of healing I had from when I lost my biological dad last year and my world was crushed.
Yeah.
And I started my therapy journey in June of last year, right after Father's Day weekend. And that built me up in such a way that I'm a different man. And there's still a hole and a divot, two of them, because like I may have mentioned to you before, my stepfather passed in February this year. So you riding with the energy of these two men that loved you dearly, and my son and my mama got to see this. I'm not about to be out here embarrassing us. That's crazy. So if I can defend myself and do it with grace. I can joke about it. People want to see you crying in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see. They want to see after you are unchose.
They do, or responding back, or responding like angrily. You know what I mean? Because we see that, and that gets a lot of attention as well from men and women. Because I feel like the people that do that get more attention from the show. Let me ask you this on the from looking back at the entire journey. Someone asked, why didn't you and Sierra connect? We know that she had a different perspective than a lot of the ladies. What did you learn? Did you learn, if anything, about the type of woman that would be a good fit for you, or what you're open to? Has this journey taught you anything that you can share with us differently than you could share with us before?
Honestly, a good amount of what Aries brought to the table until the very end was a lot of what I would love to see out of one. We each made each other an R&B playlist. Look at that giggle. You see what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was in the mid. It was after our first date, and we having our late night text conversation, and I made her, a playlist of, 90s R&B and all that. We kept it strictly to that. We did it for one another. I still would like to see that. I still, I like a woman that's very intelligent and driven. Some of my best friends and closest family members had those things about them.
Yeah.
And, I'm never going to detach myself away from that kind of energy and influence. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I saw my mom be a hardworking woman coming off of being in Detroit in the auto industry. My first job was working next to my mama at a plant. My first job in college. So, you come home for the summer. Yeah, I done seen it. I've seen it a million times over. It. Beautiful, intelligent, hardworking women. I'm never going to shy away from one that. But then who's to say that I ain't going to want to rub their feet at the end of the night, obviously. But when it's all said and done, I like that sensual side. I love it. I love the intellect. Of course, like the beauty and the style that may come with it, and just somebody that moves with good grace. She has all those qualities. She just wants something other than what I provide, and that's
Yeah.
fine. That's
Yeah.
totally okay.
Yeah.
But in the Sierra sense, if somebody mentioned that, I think you mentioned somebody said, what happened with her. Honestly, I just don't think that I don't think maybe I was too much sought after by her in the beginning.
Mhm.
And I don't know how seriously she took the journey, to
Yeah.
be 1,000% honest, but I admire Sierra flat out. Like her style, her sense of humor, how honest she is just about herself and her journey through life and
Mhm.
her professionalism, and she is cutting edge, but still does it with class.
Yeah.
Um, I like a whole ton of things about it, and it wasn't until the daggone, what do you call that, the couples retreat, is
Okay.
when I was able to really sit down and have a one-on-one with her.
Yeah, that's when we saw that
Yeah,
conversation, because
yeah,
I feel like you were really saying, not necessarily like, okay, I want to jump into this, but like, wow, I didn't realize until now how cool you are. And this is you were really just bigging her up, but it wasn't necessarily for you guys to stop and start.
correct. Yeah, it was too far. I was too far gone by that point, like respectfully, and it was
Yeah.
like to do that. That wasn't necessarily realistic, but I was grateful to tap into like I think I can say maybe a softer side of her, even if it was like late. I still know that she has that side of her. She is, you know, an affectionate woman. She does possess a lot of beautiful qualities too. I think it was just too late in that journey to go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it happened really quickly. I am Connie says this man is an active father, engaged son, and community leader. We as Black women talk a lot about the lack of dating options. Makes me wonder who's really peeing in the pool. Girl, I be trying to tell them. That's why I have the book, Dear Alpha Female. It's not him, it's you. Because sometimes, like I said, and I'm not saying that Aries should not have what she wants, Phil should have what he
For
wants.
sure, yeah.
But what I am saying is that, as a whole, because I'm looking at comments from people that talk about the show, and a lot of the comments are not, taking into account that these are husband qualities. You can have someone that makes money today and doesn't make money
Mhm.
tomorrow, but does
Mhm.
that person respect you? Do they care about your child? Do they care about are they able to keep their calm? And
Mhm.
times of stress, like, are they able to be, to me, that's a leader is able to keep a cool head and not respond emotionally. Those are all things that make for a good leader. And like I said, this is not to say that they should have been together or not, but this is to say that as women, I feel like we need to be more aware of the characteristics and qualities that you need in a real partner, as
Mhm.
opposed to who's going to buy you the bag for Instagram. Like, that is just not what we need to be looking at. So that's just me saying that. I want to thank all the people. We have over 500 people in the chat tonight, in the comments. Make sure that you guys subscribe to this and share this conversation, so people get a chance to hear Phil and why he was so unbothered after the finale with Aries. Tell us about what happened afterwards. We know that you were a little bit shocked, and I want to say, Mo and I were talking about the gift that you gave her that was so thoughtful. And you can buy gifts that cost a lot of money, but that was a gift that actually took a lot of thought and consideration and creativity. Like, what were you guys what was the conversation like right after you guys,
Mhm.
she let you know where she was at?
Well, at first I had to bring my body temperature down,
Mm.
because it was a matter of the verbiage of like the lack of respect, or I need somebody I can respect.
Right.
I ain't never been looked at in that regard, and at least not to my face. So I had to bring it in,
Yeah.
calm down, and just with my own mind and heart know this is not about you.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is coming, whatever the case is going on,
Hmm.
none of this is an indication of who you are as a man.
Yeah.
So you your ego is your ego can be, I won't even say bruised, but your ego can be tapped on right now, and that's healthy. And know
Yeah.
that and it's good to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't project that back.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, bite your lip, lick your lip, do something. I did one of them things. I know somebody took a steel shot at me at one point.
Yeah.
That's fine. But when it was all over with, I made sure them people know I was highly relieved.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad that this portion of this journey is over. And I think after I ate, I went to one of the restaurants. They put us on the date at because they got crab fried rice, and that crab fried rice is fire. You know?
You were still
And
able to enjoy your meal. Okay.
yeah, when enjoy had a smoky old fashioned. Oh no, I was good. I think it was still like NBA playoff time. I was straight. Had some good little me time, calmed down a little more, and I flat out asked her like, as a friend, what do you really want? Because I don't know now.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted that, and we had further conversation a little later that following week, and still communicated and hung out a few more times. So it wasn't. I knew again, this is not an indication of who I am.
Yeah.
I know me. And then
Yeah.
I'm not considering the editing thing. It just felt worse. I'm gonna be 1,000%. It felt worse knowing and seeing how it was edited based on people's responses,
Mm-hmm.
and then revisiting those emotions and feelings from that time. That part, that stability conversation, and still seeing and wondering how a person can question why I would be annoyed. Like no man wants to have that question posed to them 50-11 times in a matter of days.
Right.
And
Right. By different people, different coming in.
coming from different angles, mama, friend, you know what I'm saying, her.
Yeah.
And knowing that I had came from that dark place 4.5 years prior, I dealt with this. I'm not revisiting this again.
Right.
Because in that time frame, when I couldn't find work, when I wondered how I'm gonna feed my child, I remember holding him in my arms and crying because I'm like, where am I gonna work?
Yeah. Wow.
That similar moment where Will Smith had with his child in the Pursuit of Happiness, that one.
Yep.
I felt that.
Yeah.
And I'm not revisiting that because I'm at a place now. I mean, I make over 6 figures. I've averaged that over the last few years.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell nobody that.
Right.
But I've known you for 3.5, 4 weeks. Why are we talking about this? And I can't even take you out on a date off camera yet. Like, what is going on? So that was my facial expressions is probably captured. Like, I'm confused by this point.
Yeah.
But that's where the relief came in. It's like, I don't have to deal with this again. And I don't want to. I have zero desire to go through this again.
Yeah.
But aside from that, again, I just wanted to make sure I extended myself. Oh, this is what they edited too. I'm glad I thought about that, because when it came down to the choosing moment, I walked up to production and told them I am 60-40 about to choose myself. I don't know how y'all want to handle this, but y'all talk to me. How is this supposed to go? I didn't know I could have removed myself from the process. I didn't know that. I maybe would have considered that a little deeper. I was over it a week prior, truth be told. But, you know, they more or less pushed me. One particular producer pushed me into saying, I choose you. I said, don't worry about it. I handle it myself. And what I said is that I choose you as a friend that I would not leave behind. I heavily pushed the friend piece. Yeah. Because of both of us having the trauma bond with the father and the grief that come with that, losing our dads. We did establish a good a really good foundation to have a friendship through this unique experience that we can never get. Our identities are forever attached to this. Yeah. So how we flow afterwards is very important for several reasons. Just to be mature examples of, if it don't work out, you can still be okay. Yeah. And after that, you know, like I said, we still hung out and all that stuff, but she still holds a special place in my heart. But I have to really just admit, like, watching that stuff play out with the editing, plus seeing how her mama talked to me, plus seeing how my resurrected passion for comedy, which doesn't have any monetary gain at all right now, but the fact that I just feel healed enough to put that creativity out again was immediately brought into, is it lucrative? Yeah. Yeah, those are a couple of slaps to the face. Yeah. And I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate having to revisit that. And I mean, honestly, I've stayed clear away from her because I didn't appreciate how that went down.
Yeah.
So sometimes friendships take a little time away, and that's okay too. But I don't mind discussing it openly because I'm not doing it in a nasty way. It's just I'm being a human being.
Yeah, no, that's I think, and
Right.
I think she would definitely understand that. Wholesaling Tony said the word she selected to say was way worse than the aggressive word. I think it's equally as triggering for men, and I think
Mm.
I'm definitely I try to be as unbiased as possible to speak from both sides. Everybody knows, obviously, I'm a woman. I definitely have gone through a lot, and so I definitely have my women's back. But I do have to acknowledge when you say certain things to a man, that's gonna affect his manhood. I don't think that was meant in a intentional way, but we do have to know that is going to affect a man's manhood. Just like if you tell a woman she's too strong, or she's aggressive, or she's combative.
Combative. Yes. Jinx.
God, the word of the but you know
We
what,
got two words now. We got
I
two
know
of them
we
now.
got two words, but I feel like when you tell a man that you don't respect him,
Yeah.
I really feel like men need respect even more than they need love. Mo and I talked about that. Like that's a whole thing, because if you respect him, you're going to love him. I've loved men that I did not respect, and I did not need to be with them, right? Because even though I love him, the dynamic is off when there's just when there's not respect. So I do want you to tell us how you got the idea, the production. How'd you get the idea for the baseball though? That was so sweet.
Well, and I thank you, but also just thank her for sharing her father's legacy throughout different conversations and opening that door to vulnerability that we exchanged on multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the energy behind that. But it was a matter production in that moment was pretty much like we're gonna want to do flowers, we're gonna want to do do you want to do a gift?
Yeah.
And I said, all right, let's do this. And I'm doing this through text. I just wanted to have something memorable. Her dad's birthday had just passed. I
Mm-hmm.
know that was his first sport, first love of a sport. I could say he played it at such a high level. And he loved golf as well, but I figured a baseball is a little bit more memorable than a golf ball or something of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's really where the energy of that came from. And I respect how he raised her and brought her into, influencing her to be the woman that she is, and how he agrees to how he influenced her sons and being such a great granddad,
Mm-hmm.
and just the legacy he left behind out in the Bay Area and the Richmond area to, you know, through the ministries, through community involvement. He coached at a time. So I just saw that his light was shining on her throughout that process. So I wanted something to commemorate that. That was it. Yeah.
That was really nice and very thoughtful, very, very
Mm,
thoughtful. And
thank you.
I thought that was like, I was like, oh man, I knew it wasn't going to work, but I was like, that is just that, that's sweet. And I know she'll definitely cherish that. That's the type of gift that it means more than money. So moving forward, Phil, where are you at now? Like, are you dating? Are you open? We know Marvin is in a full-fledged relationship with a
Yeah, what
in the lifestyle.
she done met all of they out there in the community.
They're in the lifestyle community.
The
They have
lifestyle, the community.
Yes,
Look.
they are out there living their best life. What are you doing, Phil? Where are you at? Are you focused on comedy? Because I really think just, you know, I know that everybody on Ready to Love all wants to talk about, and everybody wants to talk, but I really think doing comedy now, speaking about your journey and about just I think this would hit. I think you need to take it and run if that's what's in your heart, because people really connect with this show. I say this all the time. My viewers, and I appreciate everybody. I definitely don't have a huge audience. I have a amazing audience that I love, but it's not huge. But what I know is that there is something about this show that resonates with people,
Mhm,
because people all want to find everyone. Love is a basic human need, right? And I
mhm,
think what keeps this show on people's mouths and talking about it, and allows people like myself and Kojo and so many other bloggers to have an audience to talk about it, is because there's that reflection. We see ourselves in you guys. I've been there was just in these dating streets, myself. And I'm thankful that God blessed me with my king. But I know that there's someone out there for all of us. And in that journey, we have to be able to laugh.
Right.
Laughter is medicine. We have to be able to keep acknowledging that we do want love, And I
For
think
sure.
I would say to you, there's definitely an opening, because out of talking and podcasting and all that stuff, it's great. But laughter is such a different type of approach, because it allows people to, number one, it's medicine, and then it allows you to relax and then relate in a different way.
Absolutely.
So
Like I said, I've been writing. I got to see Red perform a couple weeks ago, and that was a boost. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of it, I would say it's going to happen more so in a few weeks. I have my son's soccer season is going to wrap up in a few weeks, and then we'll roll into some boxing and basketball. But I don't think it's going to be as many days. I got him practicing 2 days with the team and 2 days doing personal skills out with another group of people. So when I get involved, I'm involved.
yeah.
Don't ask me to coach. I benched him on Saturday. Look, you ain't running right. You need to sit down. First of all, I don't know where you get this
I ain't
shuffling
mad
from.
at you. I ain't mad. There's consequences and repercussions for not doing what you need to do. Yeah,
exactly. He know I'm gonna hug and kiss him at the end of the day. But when I coach you, I'm gonna coach you hard, Playboy. You go run with me. But no, we got 3 more weeks of that, and then I'll be looking at some open mic nights coming up soon, and then just kind of work out some kinks of some good jokes I've been writing. Try to give me about 5 to 10 minutes of material. I'm gonna run about my man Red. Make sure Red, you know what I'm saying, he got to put his stamp on it because he above me. I know it's a hierarchy in the RTL comedian family. But no, he doing more than me, so that's it.
But I don't mean, hey, let me tell you something, Phil. You put your stuff. I'm not saying I think Red is awesome. He definitely has been doing what he's doing.
I'm just being cute about it. I'm talking trash.
Phil, you put it out.
I just got to put it out there. Yeah, I just got to put it out there. No, I'm just joking, but no, it's not about the waiting. It's really just like scheduling, because I'll be on that. Like I said, between only thing I got time for in the evenings during the week primarily is like a haircut on a Thursday. So the beauty of that is that's weeks away. I still been writing a little bit, even as of recently, and I know my energy is high. And we move, but I still got a little decorating to do. I ain't got. I say that. Let me stop acting like I'm really decorating.
A blank wall behind you, Phil. It's a blank wall. I see nothing on the wall.
I knew you was gonna say that. I was hoping the Wu-Tang shirt would throw away, would leave you off the wall.
And there ain't nothing on the wall.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to decorate with. But I got pictures in the garage. I'm gonna start with them. It's not.
But are you open? Have you been dating? What do you? Because women are good with helping put pictures on walls.
Yeah, I don't want nobody in here putting their energy around here just yet.
I ain't mad.
Just yet, but I am open to the idea of it. I think I am also just like, let me just take. I'm still breathing off the experience of this.
Yeah.
Taking deep breaths, because at first thought I caught my breath for a minute, and then it was like, that nigga ain't got no job. I was like, yo, let's calm down. My coworkers just chiming in the Facebook group, like, yeah, he worked with me. I know I make straight payments or something.
He is not Tommy from Martin. He got a job.
That's probably the coolest part, is to see the Tommy from Martin, because I'm like, nah, I know some BS, because we can all joke about Tommy. So we gonna throw me in there right with it. I'm with it. If I'm the TV, a reality TV dating version of Tommy, cool. I ain't mad at it. But yeah, so I think let me just breathe off of this. We're gonna let this reunion. And then I'm gonna get my Christian Mingle account set up right after that. Right after that.
Well, you probably do. Is there a Buddhist mingle? Is there any type of
No, I'm just gonna fake it. I'm just gonna put my Bible study times on there anyway, and I'm just gonna fake. I was gonna fake it till they find out. Like,
watch the show. They gonna watch the show, Phil. That is hilarious. Well, I appreciate you coming and sharing, but most importantly, I appreciate you for the example that you set.
Thank you.
That's really dope, and I think even being honest about it and being real transparent is something that will definitely help some other men. because
Yeah.
that's the only way we heal, because women get hurt and we attack, and men get hurt and they attack. If someone has the ability to get hurt and instead of reacting, stop and act in love with grace, that allows the other side to say,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So that's huge. That's huge.
It's all in the stages. It's really just take a few deep breaths, bring it in, think good thoughts, stay centered, and that's one of the main, most greatest things, that I could have ever learned. And from that point, I'm gonna pass that to my child, make sure he's aware of it, and allow him to have his own spiritual journey. But whether you go through to Islam, whether you want to practice Buddhism or not, whether you want to be a Christian, regardless of whatever, God's still in you, and whatever comes out of you is a reflection of what you fed yourself.
That part,
So
what's in
yeah,
here. It's like I can't say that I am, a Christian and I love God and I'm this, and then the next word out of my mouth is that whole going to, like, it just doesn't.
and sometimes that's gonna happen.
We
Hold
are
on.
human, but I also think to whom much is given, much is expected. And so if
Yeah,
you put yourself in a position you have a platform, you have to be responsible with that platform. So,
correct.
that's what's dope about it. Phil, we are concerned about going into this reunion. I know I'm concerned. I don't know.
I still am.
I'm so concerned about. I'm looking forward to it because it's been a long time coming, but it's just so much. There was so much with this cast.
Oh Lord.
So much that is bubbling, right? Yes, J Monster. We have Sequilla on Friday after the reunion, because I was just like, you know what, girl, let's just get you on, because I know there's a lot that she needs to talk about. She came on earlier. What can you share? What can you share just in hindsight, after everything has been said and done? I know you don't know what actually made the edit and what didn't. Any key things that you can share from the experience looking at the entire thing, including the reunion, just looking back at the whole thing?
um, Two things.
Okay.
On a high note,
Okay.
Aries and I was able to, share maturity on how the finale was,
Okay.
and more or less speak to it as we had done leading up to that point, in loving, mature manner in the whole nine. Like, and I forget whatever words, but all I knew to tell Tommy, like, hey dog, ain't no convincing no grown woman
Yeah.
about me. I gotta convince a 6-year-old that I'm still a superhuman, a superhero every fucking day. So we gonna leave it there. But no, it was I think that was a high note. And then there were some low notes from some furniture moving up in there that didn't fully escalate.
Yeah.
However, that energy in itself, to me, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And hell, I was a victim of it at a point. I didn't know why.
You got caught in the crosshairs.
I got caught with a direct bullseye on me.
Oh wow.
From somebody.
Okay.
That I ain't gonna name no name because I don't know how they go push this. But to make a long story short, some smoke got sent in my direction too, and I just let it pass me.
Wow.
I was the same way I was that you seen. I was the same way when that happened, and it's gonna be the same. Because two things for me, I'm not arguing with a woman I don't pay no bills with.
Yeah.
And I don't have nothing invested with. It ain't got to be about nothing physical and sexual and all of that. I ain't got nothing invested with you. We ain't paying no bills together. We have no back and forth to have.
Right. I agree with you. I'm like this, and any man who I am not laying down with.
And I don't even want to dumb it down to that. It's just the point. Like, we don't even have nothing at a higher set of consciousness to go back and forth about why I'm gonna do it down here.
Right.
Again, if I go down there, if you pull me down into a mud fight, I got to be willing to get my clothes dirty.
That's true.
And I am not.
Right. Not at this place in life.
I got to decorate. What the hell is like arguing with somebody?
You got time for this. You got walls to decorate.
I got walls.
My last question for you, Phil, just period, this entire experience. What will you take from this experience moving forward into when you are ready to date? Because I will say this to you, you know, you mentioned, not sharing, how much money you make in a short period of time. And I do want to tell you, which you probably already know because some of your other castmates move very differently. So there are a lot of men that lead with their money, right? So a lot of men say they don't want a woman that just wants them for their money, but they lead with it. So when you lead with how much money you have or what you have access to, um, a lot of women are used to that. So I think that it, like attracts like at the end of the day. We figure out what is for us, but wondering from you, like, what will you take from this experience as you move forward to the next experience? I believe anything that's not a love connection is a lesson. So what was your lesson?
Um, I would say my lesson is when the opportunity comes again, when I see that all cylinders are firing off and things are going in that right direction again, exemplify that same care that I did, and whether it was on camera or off camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always be, for lack of better terms, rewarded down the line. It
Yeah.
ain't got to be from that person, but God saw it and God knew where I was when I presented myself in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got to, I'm too old to be jaded. I'm too old to be scarred because somebody ain't want me over 5 weeks.
Over
Look,
5 weeks. Yeah.
we cool and still know that it ain't necessarily gonna work out then.
Yeah.
But know that I put, and it's you can't be like that with everybody, but just know once the opportunity comes, I put my most vulnerable, open, understanding self forward.
Mm-hmm.
Care is, like I said it in the last interview, care, somebody that I could care for and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody I can pour some of my glass out in theirs and they go pour it back. But you got to pour back, though. I ain't about to be the one pouring.
I'm
Okay.
empty and you full, and I'm just sitting there empty. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
especially not in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like down the line, life happens. You want to make sure that both of y'all are straight. Sometimes you gotta go over and above. But
Yeah.
we in the beginning, you got to pour back. I'm so sorry.
We should always have someone who has the intention of pouring back. Like,
Correct.
we should be
Correct.
trying. I tell people, like, it should not be happy wife, happy life. It really should be happy house, happy spouse.
Correct.
It really
Yes.
should be, both people should be happy, because that's how you keep the marriage and relationships together. That's how people end
Yeah.
up going to look for other things when their happiness is not,
I ain't going there, but that is exactly how that can happen. But that's how you do with your friends.
yeah.
When you got your road dogs or your close family members, when it's time to pour into them and tell them how great they are and things like that, you
Yeah.
want them to pour back into you. Because other than that, you go believe in like, hey, that mug only call me when they want something.
Yeah, and this
Or,
over here is just pouring into me, and I appreciate that.
and you
So,
got to pour back.
yeah,
Yeah. You
you
got to
gotta pour
pour. Yeah. So so I'm just being patient on that. I'm gonna get these walls together. And then in the midst of that, as the time, I'm gonna allow this time to just be what it is. But I got plenty good things to focus on
yeah,
in the meantime. And life is good.
yeah. You're
I'm
not gonna have
chilling.
no trouble at all. I'm sure your DMs is gonna be locked in, after, which they probably already are. But I'm sure the women are definitely coming after you after this, and whatever God has for you is definitely going to find you. But I
Yes.
definitely, hope. Please keep me posted on the comedy, and however we can help. Please let us know.
Okay. Well, my cash app for these pictures I
Don't
need.
pay for that
I'm
way. No, another way. Yeah, another way. Yeah,
all right. Well, they said I ain't got no job, so if I can't do nothing else, I gotta ask.
that's not how we help. No, 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 no. With information, we'll help you to spread the information. So
Okay.
keep me
Well,
posted. Let me know when you have the first open mic so we can support.
I will do that. No, not that first one. Probably like that fifth one.
Well, work it through, and then let us know after you work it through. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
We will definitely be checking out that reunion.
Happy anniversary.
Thank
Hey,
you. Thank you.
it better be some more clothes on the floor with y'all by
Trust
the end of the night.
let y'all go find my husband.
Yeah, I'm gonna send y'all a bottle of champagne or something.
Do it. Do it.
All
Send
right.
it all. Thank
All
you,
right.
Phil. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Yes, I am in Orlando. For those who are asking, is Crystal on vacation? Crystal is on vacation with her husband. We are celebrating our wedding anniversary and our birthdays. My birthday is October 3rd. His is October 5th, and our wedding anniversary is October 4th. So we got this amazing opportunity to come to Disney World and really enjoy. And that's probably him calling me now. I want to tell you guys to please, please, please make sure you're subscribed. On Friday, I have another episode of Pop Culture Power, and you can win you can win a beauty pack, or you can win a fedora. I have some amazing gifts coming. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you share this conversation. And I will see you guys back here Friday night for my interview with Tequila right after the reunion. You guys know it's going to be on and popping. Tequila is going to be unedited and unleashed. We're going to get to the bottom of it and what happened. Part 1 of the reunion airs at 8, and then Tequila will be here with me at 10 p.m. So I love you guys for watching. Thank you so much for showing up for me on a Tuesday night. I love you for watching, and I'll see you guys right back here on Friday. Have a good week. Bye-bye.